A headline from nearly every day of January 2015 from the Washington Post. Jeb Bush severs ties to most firms with eye on 2016. Republicans and state governments plan juggernaut of conservative legislation. Protesters slam Oprah over comments that they lack leadership. The Boehner for Speaker whip count. This post shamelessly uses Frederick County, Maryland council member Kirby DeLauder's name without authorization. Gunmen storm Paris satirical newspaper, killing at least 12. French police close in on Paris attack suspects. Romney to GOP donors, I want to be president. A signal of distaste for dynasties bodes ill for Bush and Clinton. Democrats in a stark shift in messaging to make big tax break pitch for middle class. Romney moves to reassemble campaign team for almost certain 2016 bid. Rand Paul announces campaign manager for likely 2016 campaign. That time John Kerry got James Taylor to sing You've Got a Friend to France. Holder limits seized asset sharing process that splits billions with local and state police. Romney, moving towards 2016 run, outlines vision to eradicate poverty. U.S.-built Ebola treatment centers in Liberia are nearly empty as outbreak fades. Obama uses his tax proposal to taunt the GOP. Shiite insurgents control Yemen's presidential palace and residence. Abortion bill dropped amid concerns of female GOP lawmakers. China harassing and imprisoning Chinese working for foreign news outlets. Jeb Bush previews 2016 run promising adult conversations on big issues. Palin says she's seriously interested in 2016 campaign. End Obamacare and people could die. That's okay. Koch-backed network aims to spend nearly $1 billion on 2016 elections. Obama drops proposal to cut tax benefits of 529 college savings plans. Sarah Palin and her one-time fans on the right. It's so over. A headline for nearly every day of February 2015. Jeb Bush has become the GOP frontrunner for 2016. So now what? GOP holds security hostage to immigration. Vaccination debate flares in GOP presidential race, alarming medical experts. Senator says restaurant employees shouldn't be required to wash their hands. Here's how the GOP would repeal and replace Obamacare. Critics pounce after Obama talks crusades and slavery at prayer breakfast. Why Obama invoked the Crusades and what it says about how he views terrorism. NBC's Brian Williams told varying versions of rocket fire and Israel-Hezbollah war. Democrats suffering from Clinton fatigue say they're ready for Warren. Jeb Bush's chief technology officer resigns after racially insensitive comments. Within NBC, an intense debate over whether to fire Brian Williams. FBI director acknowledges hard truths about racial bias in policing. This woman will soon become the first openly bisexual governor in American history. Pro-Iran militias' success in Iraq could undermine U.S. Jeb Bush says, I love my father and my brother, but I am my own man. Clinton Foundation's global network overlaps with family's political base. Chris Christie losing home state donors as Jeb Bush makes inroads. A 120-year-old record low broken in D.C., one of many today and in the past week. Walker says he is unaware whether Obama is a Christian. Documents show the expensive taste of Jeb Bush's low-key wife. On Homeland Security funding, Republicans govern without logic. U.S. military vehicles paraded 300 yards from the Russian border. Foreign governments gave millions to Foundation while Clinton was at State Department. Investigators probing for criminal activity with Lois Lerner's missing emails. Putin critic, Russian opposition leader Boris Nemtsov killed in Moscow. A headline for nearly every day of March 2015. Retired Israeli veterans warn against speech. Hacked emails indicate that Hillary Clinton used a domain registered the day of her Senate hearings. Awash in cash, Bush asked donors not to give more than $1 million. For now. Conservative justices say if we got Obamacare, Republicans will fix it. No, they won't. Scott Walker gets a crash course in foreign policy. Russia's anti-American fever goes beyond the Soviet eras. The public deserves answers, not stonewalling from Hillary Clinton. Ted Cruz's claim that the IRS tax code has more words than the Bible. Some top Democrats are alarmed about Clinton's readiness for a campaign. Early onset Clinton fatigue. War with Iran is probably our best option. Mitt Romney warms to Marco Rubio as young senator cultivates relationship. Ted Cruz tries to drum up conservative support in New Hampshire. Hands up, don't shoot was built on a lie. Senator Ted Cruz seeks to upend D.C. laws on contraception coverage and gay rights. Petraeus says the Islamic State isn't our biggest problem in Iraq. The role of Hillary Clinton's brother in Haiti gold mine raises questions. O'Malley steps up Wall Street critique and swing through Iowa. Report says Israel spied on Iran-U.S. talks and shared information with lawmakers. Iran isn't providing needed access or information, nuclear watchdog says. U.S. forces begin airstrikes into Crete, where Iran-backed militias are in lead. Bush and Walker start to sharpen their messages. GO congressmen say Ted Cruz backers are making boorish phone calls to my office. Pro-discrimination religious freedom laws are dangerous. Poll says clearly majority supports nuclear deal with Iran. A headline for nearly every day of April 2015. Arkansas lawmakers approve religious liberty bill despite firestorm over Indiana law. Poll says Bush now tops GOP field. Clinton runs ahead of all Republicans. Obama's Iran deal falls far short of his own goals. Alabama inmate free after 30 years on death row. How the case against him unraveled. Columbia Journalism School report blasts Rolling Stone. I'm gay, and I want my kids to be gay too. YouTube's copyright system has taken Rand Paul's presidential announcement offline. These Texas rebels say the American flag is more racist than the Confederate flag. The Iran deal, anatomy of a disaster. For Republicans, Stop Hillary campaign begins in earnest. Wealthy donors on left launch new plan to wrest back control in the states. Hillary Clinton says she would support a constitutional amendment on campaign finance reform. Sustainability gone mad on college campuses. She rides by van, the Hillary Clinton launch. FBI overstated forensic hair matches in nearly all trials before 2000. Top Christie ally defects to Bush. The Insiders, Obama's global warming distraction. For Clintons, speech income shows how their wealth is intertwined with charity. After a ridiculous delay, Loretta Lynch finally gets confirmed. The Insiders, how do the Clinton scandals end? Is anyone afraid of Jeb Bush? Never before have so many people with so much money run for president. The Supreme Court must finish the job on same-sex equality. What you really need to know about Baltimore from a reporter who's lived there for over 30 years. Prisoner in van said Freddie Gray was trying to injure himself, document says. A headline for nearly every day of May 2015. Findings indicate Gray got head injuries in van. Nearly half of Obamacare exchanges are struggling over their future. Conservative Party's fortune is cautionary tale for GOP. The Clintons, a luxury jet, and their $100 million donor from Canada. Ben Carson's over-the-top ego. Surveillance planes spotted in the sky for days after West Baltimore rioting. This isn't 1968, Baltimore isn't Watts, and Hillary Clinton isn't Michael Dukakis. Shawshank prison escape ends 56 years later with cinematic stakeout. Election may set Britain on a path to becoming Little England. Hillary Clinton hasn't answered a question from the media in 20 days. 10 members of Congress took trips secretly funded by foreign government. Veterans Affairs improperly spent $6 billion annually, senior officials says. Scientists have discovered the first fully warm-blooded fish. I flew a gyrocopter onto the Capitol lawn to save our democracy. Clinton Foundation donors include dozens of media organizations and individuals. Dean Potter, extreme climber, dies in Yosemite base jumping accident. The Republican field is a clown car. After rioters burn Baltimore, killings pile up largely under the radar. Suspect in 4 D.C. killings identified after DNA is found on pizza sent to burned home. Clinton Foundation reveals up to $26 million in additional payments. What Hillary Clinton's emails tell us about her management style. Cleveland officer acquitted in killing of unarmed pair amid barrage of gunfire. Maryland's free-range parents cleared of neglect in one case. The decline of Rand Paul. Fewer immigrants are entering the U.S. illegally, and that's changed the border security debate. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert indicted by federal grand jury. Hastert indictment is related to old allegations of sexual misconduct, law enforcement official says. Beau Biden, vice president's son, dies of brain cancer. A headline for every day of June 2015. Sun sets on some NSA surveillance powers as Rand Paul foils extension. Frontrunner angst. Bush lead evaporates. Clinton favorability hits 7-year low. The inside story of how the Clintons built a $2 billion global empire. As FIFA allegations swirled, Clintons gave Qatar a stage and legitimacy. Hillary Clinton calls for sweeping expansion of voter access. Ben Carson's campaign faces turmoil amid staff exits and super PAC rivalry. As he nears a 2016 bid, Louisiana's Bobby Jindal hits political bottom. New video shows Texas police officer pulling a gun on teenagers at pool party. Didn't the McKinney, Texas police officer know he was being recorded? Voldemort is polling better than many Republican presidential candidates. Jeb Bush's recipe for a better society. Shame. Are you an African American? Why an NAACP official isn't saying. House Democrats rebuff Obama on trade, delivering major defeat. How Hillary Clinton launched her campaign's latest phase. How a devastating loss in Florida taught Jeb Bush what it takes to win. Caitlyn Jenner and Rachel Dolezal, clash of identity and authenticity. Donald Trump's festival of narcissism. 9 dead in hate crime shooting at historic African American church in Charleston. In L.A., Obama addresses Washington's dysfunction. I did not say I would fix it. An NRA board member blamed the pastor killed in Charleston for the deaths of his members. Americans reclaim the liberal label. Billy Graham's grandson steps down from Florida megachurch after admitting an affair. The Confederate battle flag is not worthy of respect. Anesthesiologist trashes sedated patient, and it ends up costing her. The story of Bobby Jindal and the apparent exorcism you probably haven't heard. Supreme Court rules gay couples nationwide have a right to marry. The Confederate flag is just a distraction. In a fast-changing culture, can the GOP get in step with modern America? Jeb Bush dogged by decades of questions about business deals. Why Ted Cruz watched pornography with the Supreme Court justices. A headline for nearly every day of July 2015. Officers often lack the training to approach the mentally unstable, experts say. As Donald Trump surges in polls, Democrats cheer. The worst agreement in U.S. diplomatic history. What the Declaration of Independence really claimed. Scott Walker's wife, toughened by life, is ready for fires of a campaign. At Trump hotel site, immigrant workers weary. Federal judge orders cancellation of Redskins trademark registrations. GOP leaders fear damage to party's image as Donald Trump doubles down. Hillary Clinton's push on gun control marks a shift in presidential politics. Blame John Boehner for the House GOP's Confederate flag fiasco. Donald Trump says we have to take back the heart of our country. Listening to Donald Trump swear and talk politics on his private plane. Why Hillary Clinton made gender such a big deal in her major economic speech. Undercover video shows Planned Parenthood official discussing fetal organs used for research. How the plunging price of oil has set off a new global contest. Chattanooga gunman came from a middle-class Muslim family. Trump slams McCain for being captured in Vietnam. Other Republicans quickly condemn him. Scott Walker tells undocumented worker that immigrants must follow law. The Republican poll nightmare that is Donald Trump in 4 charts. I will light you up. Texas officer threatens Sandra Bland with taser during traffic stop. Why Hillary Clinton and her rivals are struggling to grasp Black Lives Matter. The price of fetal parts. TV host remember alleged Lafayette gunman as anti-taxed, anti-feminist gadfly. No rest for the candidates in this summer of discontent. A kiss is not a kiss. In some cultures, it's just gross, researchers find. Hillary Clinton's ridiculous hedge on Keystone XL. Planned Parenthood president. These extremist videos are nothing short of an attack on women. Why aren't libertarians rejecting Rand Paul's fight against Planned Parenthood? A headline for nearly every day of August 2015. Top Clinton aide accused of receiving overpayments at State Department. Charles Koch invites fight for civil rights as model for political activism. Charles Koch's focus on injustices is fueled by an unlikely partnership. FBI looking into the security of Hillary Clinton's private email setup. Donald Trump talked politics with Bill Clinton weeks before launching 2016 bid. Carly Fiorina won the happy hour debate. By a lot. Donald Trump disinvited to speak at Red State event. Megyn Kelly invited. Trump's history of flippant misogyny. Bernie Sanders draws 28,000 people in Portland, his campaign says. Largest 2016 contender crowd by far. Clinton says Trump is offensive to women, but so is Rubio and the rest of the GOP field. Hillary Clinton agrees to provide private email server to FBI. Hillary Clinton's email server turned over to FBI. An Iowa surprise. Donald Trump is actually trying to win. Republican presidential candidate's reckless anti-tax crusade. It's too late for Democrats to start rethinking Clinton's 2016 viability. Jeb Bush on Donald Trump's immigration ideas. A plan needs to be grounded in reality. Birthright citizenship was one of the Republican Party's greatest accomplishments. 5 mistakes Hillary Clinton made in her latest email press conference. Inside the GOP field's new strategies to ride out the Trump tornado. Mr. Trump's immigrant-bashing rhetoric breeds violence. Train suspect had been flagged as potential risk. Why salad is so overrated. Oscar winners Julianne Moore, Bruce Cohen worked to strip school's Confederate name. How companies make millions off lead poison poor blacks. The havoc that Trump wreaks. How Huma Abedin operated at the center of the Clinton universe. Democratic challengers launch attacks against Clinton and party leadership. Dems say party chair blocked Iran resolution at DNC meeting. What happened to Scott Walker? A headline for every day of September 2015. Republicans are digging themselves a hole over immigration. Clinton, using private server, wrote and sent emails now deemed classified. Staffer who worked on Clinton's private email server faces subpoena. Trump's party loyalty pledge ends one GOP problem, brings others. Clinton's personally paid State Department staffer to maintain server. What have Bush and Clinton learned from voters' attraction to the outsiders? A hands-off Democratic race. Clinton and Sanders won't speak ill of each other. Get ready for a second GOP debate with even more fireworks. Hungarian bishop says Pope is wrong about refugees. Ben Carson says, I don't want to get into a gladiator fight with Donald Trump. A new 9/11 memorial to Flight 93. Our loved ones left a legacy for all of us. University of California considering recognizing a right to be free from expressions of intolerance. Tech company says no indication that Clinton's email server was wiped. Poll says Trump and Carson top GOP race. Clinton leads Dems, but support drops. Republicans think Donald Trump is trustworthy, empathetic, and well-suited to presidency. Boehner and his allies prepare fall battle with conservative GOP critics. The rest of the field figured out how to make Trump not quite as dominant. Trump doesn't correct rally attendee who says Obama is Muslim and not even an American. Are Democrats and Republicans talking about the same country? Cyclist, a White House staffer, dies on charity ride after collision with a car. Cancer-stricken children and parents ejected from park near White House. How Donald Trump destroyed Scott Walker's presidential chances. State Department's account of email requests differs from Clinton's. Donald Trump wants the FCC to fine a critical Fox News pundit. Jeb Bush says win black voters with aspiration, not free stuff. Carly Fiorina's bogus secretary CEO career trajectory. Donald Trump says the media underestimates his crowds and him. Elizabeth Warren just gave the speech that Black Lives Matter activists have been waiting for. Conservatives float Trey Gowdy as next House Majority Leader. Boehner's likely successor credits Benghazi Committee for lowering Hillary Clinton's poll numbers. A headline for nearly every day of October 2015. Secret Service official wanted to embarrass congressman. Oregon shooter said to have singled out Christians for killing in horrific act of cowardice. Bush, Rubio, and Kasich eye one another in the shadow of Trump. Deal reached on Pacific Rim Trade Pact and boost for Obama economic agenda. FBI probe of Clinton email expands to second data company. House conservatives spurn McCarthy, flex muscle ahead of speaker vote. The GOP sinks deeper into chaos. Can it still function as a party? Wooing Chairman Ryan, Paul Ryan remains on sidelines as House GOP looks to regroup. Back in the pack, this is not the campaign Chris Christie envisioned. The wild card at the Democratic debate could be the guy no one's talking about. Ted Cruz says the military shouldn't be a cauldron for social experiments. Hillary Clinton towers over her debate rivals. Obama expected to announce new plan to keep 5,500 troops in Afghanistan. In campaign money race, Democrats vastly outpacing Republicans. What is a democratic socialist? Bernie Sanders tries to redefine the name. Sanders planning major speech on democratic socialism, he tells Iowa supporters. Gowdy's pleas to keep Benghazi above politics have gone unheeded. Clock Kid Ahmed Mohammed and his family will move to Qatar. Supermajority of House Freedom Caucus to back Paul Ryan's speaker bid. The GOP's unfortunate Benghazi hearing. Donald Trump seeks a sharp contrast with Ben Carson's Seventh-day Adventist faith. The GOP's dysfunction all started with Sarah Palin. 3 sentences that explain just how clueless established Republicans are about 2016. Rand Paul will filibuster debt ceiling bill. The third Republican debate transcript annotated. Can Jeb Bush come back? Obama seeks to intensify operations in Syria with special ops troops. A headline for nearly every day of November 2015. After vowing to end 2 wars, Obama may leave 3 behind. Republicans shoot themselves in the foot with Latinos again. Trump's campaign says he'll negotiate directly with TV networks on debates. Trump team says his retweet of a Nazi image was an accident. George H.W. Bush slams iron-ass Cheney, arrogant Rumsfeld in new biography, also faults Bush 43. Bill O'Reilly slanders Ronald Reagan. Clinton refrains from attacks while bearing the brunt of her opponents'. Trump's sorry night on SNL, an overhyped bummer for us all. A decade into a project to digitize U.S. immigration forms, just one is online. Ben Carson under pressure ahead of critical 4th debate. University of Missouri, please immediately fire employees who taunted media. Hillary Clinton's claim that she tried to join the Marines. Donald Trump's 95-minute rant. How stupid are the people of the country? Ben Carson says U.S. should block Middle Eastern refugees after Paris attacks. Hillary Clinton invoked 9/11 to answer a question about Wall Street, and Twitter was not happy. Cruz says no meaningful risk of Christians committing terrorism. Obama chides Republicans who want to screen Muslim refugees. Senior Obama officials warned of challenges in screening refugees from Syria. 41 years, $3 billion, inside the Clinton donor network. Dear CNN, are you biased? A threat to freedom of speech at the Supreme Court. Trump leads, Carson second as GOP voters favor change over experience. Trump's outrageous claim that thousands of New Jersey Muslims celebrated the 9/11 attacks. Electric cars and the coal that runs them. Trump blasted by New York Times after mocking reporter with disability. He said, "All right, let's do this," and then he jumped the White House fence. 3 dead, 9 injured following shootout at Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs. For Democrats, it's not just demographics as destiny. Abortion rights groups, political rhetoric contributed to shooting. A headline for nearly every day of December 2015. Donald Trump ponders charging CNN for his debate participation. Iraqis think the U.S. is in cahoots with the Islamic State, and it is hurting the war. 2 dead suspects named after mass shooting that killed 14 at California office party. Couple seem quiet and withdrawn until explosion of violence. The non-existent case for progressive taxation. From Trump, Ryan, Cruz, and Rubio, clues to the Republican Party's identity. Obama's Oval Office address reflects struggle to be heard. I will never leave this race. Democrats' misleading claims about closing the no-fly list loophole. Thanks to Trump, fringe news enters the mainstream media. 196 countries approve historic climate agreement. Cruz campaign credits psychological data and analytics for its rising success. In face of criticism, Trump surges to his biggest lead over the GOP field. GOP candidates have an unruly fight over serious issues, with no clear winner. DNC penalizes Sanders' campaign for improper access of Clinton voter data. Accord reached after Sanders sues the DNC over suspended access to critical voter list. Trump says fellow Republicans are jealous as hell of Putin's praise. Iran provokes the world as Obama does nothing. Donald Trump says Clinton's bathroom break during the debate is too disgusting to talk about. Ted Cruz uses his kids as political props. U.S. plans raids to deport families who surged across border. Now it's even easier for candidates and their aides to help super PACs. Trump's fans are excited to rally, but they're not sure they'll show up to vote. Ben Carson on the brink. A process like this is pretty brutal. How Donald Trump destroyed the Republican Party in 2015. Trump is right. Bill Clinton's sordid sexual history is fair game. How Rubio helped his ex-con brother-in-law acquire a real estate license.